I haven't come to terms with what the development of superintelligence could do to my children's future.
Elon Musk's AI Grok has been fiercely criticised in recent days after the chatbot began generating sexualized images of women and girls.
Non-consensual sexual images, primarily targeting women.
AI generated sexualized images of children.
Fake sexually explicit images of real women and children.
You don't want companies cutting corners on safety.
We started to see more examples of kids, frankly, dying by suicide as a result of these chatbots.
Helped a 16-year-old boy die by suicide.
He would be here, but for ChatGPT.
What's happening in Memphis, that is Elon's vision.
They have no controls that prevent air pollution or decrease air pollution in their factories. None.
Musk's data center burning enough methane to power a small city with no permits and no pollution controls.
They're emitting somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 tons of NOx. I'm an air pollution guy, so I deal in those numbers all the time, and that's larger than anything else in Memphis.
XAI is committed to meeting the highest standard for emissions. XAI is going above and beyond the required emission control requirements.
They destroyed the environment, taking down all the trees across the road.
Beautiful pines, beautiful forests.
This is really going to take things to the next level.
You know, I think AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there will be great companies created with serious machine learning.
Forest Grove lost 51 teachers this year, and in Beaverton, they closed down a school. All this, they're telling us there's no money in the meantime that we're helping billionaires make more money.
The residents who live in the impacted communities say their quality of life is at the mercy of their local governments.
Migraines, vertigo, nausea, chronic sleep disruption from residents, not necessarily people who work at a data center, but just residents in the area.
Some of the effects with the diabetes, the lack of sleep, how it can lead to all these different health effects.
I thought I was losing my mind.
This is the current drinking water in Morgan County, Georgia.
We're actually removing groundwater that people rely on here for their drinking water.
Each of these buildings to use 1 million gallons of water a day.
43% of data centers, and this is our largest data centers, are located in areas of high or extremely high water stress. And that's really shocking because data centers require a huge amount of drinking water to be able to cool their servers.
In the next 15 years, data centers are expected to add an additional $160 billion to grid costs in the US. If policymakers fail to change anything, by one estimate, electricity rates for average households will spike by as much as 70%.
We saw customers with bills $900, over $1,000. It's unfathomable that they are having to pay higher rates to support wealthy corporations building data centers.
My electric and gas bill was more than my car payment. I mean, it's insane to me.
The problem is that data centers are bursting through the envelope of energy demand, and we're seeing record energy demand almost entirely being driven by data centers.
When utilities have to pay a higher capacity price, they pass it on to consumers in the form of supply charges.
One report showed that a Google search using a ChatGPT-like AI feature used 30 times as much power as a normal Google search. In the next 3 years, data center use of electricity is expected to double or even triple.
According to the PJM's independent monitor, data centers were responsible for 63% of last year's price increase.
In Virginia, Dominion Energy disclosed that it would need to roughly double its electricity generation by 2039, mainly to meet demand from data centers and electric vehicles. The 2024 Department of Energy report estimates that their electricity use, driven by the AI boom, could soon require as much as 12% of total US electricity use. In 2023, it was just over 4%.
data center workers driving up the rent.
And so our rates will go up in order to finance a sweetheart deal for a data center.
And with data centers often going up in rural areas, it's usually people in marginalized communities who are most affected.
These big companies, they're legally required to try and maximize profits. And that's not what you want from the people developing this stuff.
I get it, they're here to build on Abilene, but as far as like personal care aid people, we're also needed.
We should not be having to pay the bill for the infrastructure that is supporting private companies that are making a ton of money off of this infrastructure. They're not building AI just because it's fun to build AI. They're building AI because it's making them money.
Americans' utility bills are rising while big tech's profits are going through the roof.
Compared to the same time last year, my bill has gone up, but also I noticed my usage went down.
So it's going to increase the gap between rich and poor.
They're not creating jobs, they're not adding income, they're not providing tax revenue to Texans to build schools, to maintain their road network, or to improve their electric infrastructure, which is a problem in the state. It doesn't really pass the common sense test, much less the benefit cost test for most local communities.
But if you can replace lots of people by AIs, then the people who get replaced will be worse off, and the company that supplies the AIs will be much better off.
A Business Insider analysis found that even the largest data centers employ fewer than 150 permanent workers, and some have as few as 25.
I think about the people who used to farm there, but mostly I think about my kids. Not only what are they going to do for jobs, because I have no illusions that my kids will be farmers, but where will they find their food?
For a company to do this, it's treating the people who live there as if they don't count.
I think we need people to tell governments that governments have to force the companies to use their resources to work on safety. And they're not doing much of that because you don't make profits that way.
You better not come here and pollute our children, our homeowners, stomp all over our small businesses and think that there won't be backlash.
Big tech is literally the wealthiest, most profitable industry in the world. They have the capacity to pull out their pocketbooks and cover their costs associated with this data center expansion. Instead, the American people and small businesses that aren't data centers are covering their costs.
What we're saying is that